guys, it's me, Emily, and welcome back to another reading vlog. So I haven't been doing I feel like weekly reading vlogs in a few weeks just because I've been working on this long video. This is the secret reading vlog thing. I've been working on that for the past couple of weeks, and that's mainly been the books I've been reading. I've kind of hit a point where I'm somewhat reading the books, I guess, for that vlog, but also right at this moment I've been reading other books. I guess I'm just filming two vlogs at once is the best way I can explain this. Let's jump into this vlog. So the first book of my TBR currently is Maybe Someday by Colleen Hoover. This is, I believe, a new adult novel. I've read one Colleen Hoover before, and that was Finding Cinderella. I guess after reading that, I wasn't sure how I was going to feel in general about other Colleen Hoover books, as I strongly disliked that one. When on a whim, I was just like, I'm gonna read Maybe Someday, so I put it on hold, and I'm currently reading it. I'm about I guess 20% into it now, and overall I'm surprisingly liking it way more than Finding Cinderella. Maybe Someday was the one that had piqued my interest out of all of Colleen Hoover's books the most, because there's music in it. The love interest is deaf, which I think is cool, and I don't know, it just sounded the most interesting to me. So I've been wanting to read this book for a very long time. I think after Finding Cinderella I was like, do I want to read this? Am I going to like this? I wasn't sure if I was just going to connect with Colleen Hoover's writing in general. And while I do know that this book does have cheating in it, I'm going to be apprehensive about that. But in general, I've read books with cheating before and still did very much enjoy them back when it didn't affect me as much. I guess I went into it pretty weary. I wasn't sure how I was going to feel about this one, but so far I'm actually pretty surprised that I am quite enjoying it so far. I already shipped the characters together. I think they do kind of suit one another, and they just kind of have great chemistry, and they're cute together, and I'm excited to see how the relationship's going to progress throughout it. I just don't know how I'm gonna feel about the cheating aspect. I'm gonna acknowledge that this book is problematic, but I'm enjoying it quite a lot. Part of me wants to give it 5 stars, but I'm really 20% into it, I really can't give it 5 stars yet. This book is about our main character, Sydney, who is living in an apartment with her roommate who is her best friend. She has a boyfriend, and she sits on her balcony, and this guy next door sits on his balcony and starts playing guitar, and she starts kind of singing her supposed lyrics for the songs when he kind of catches her doing so, and he kind of wants her to start writing lyrics for him and I guess his band. And then Sydney finds out that her boyfriend is cheating on her with her roommate, so she ends up moving out of her apartment and in with Ridge, the love interest character. Things essentially go from there, and they're gonna write music together, and I love a book, I just love musicians, so, I love books with music involved. There's also, a soundtrack that basically goes with this, where, it shows the songs that they write together. I haven't gotten to that part yet. I knew the artist, because I had heard the Ugly Love song without even reading Ugly Love. I'm excited to see, all the songs and listen to those. I'm enjoying this book. I think it's cute. And then the audiobook I'm going to pick up is Their Fractured Light by Amy Kaufman and Megan Spooner. This is the third and final book in the Starbound trilogy. I read the first book in the series. It's my favorite book of the year. I haven't stopped talking about it since I've read it. You guys are probably so annoyed at me talking about it so much because, I absolutely adore this book. And then the second book I really enjoyed. I think it was pretty good. Not as good as the first one, obviously. This is the finale. I don't expect to love this one as much as the first book, and I don't want to go in there with that, but I think I'm still going to really enjoy this book. I'm really excited about it. This is the third book, so it follows 2 other characters. Sophia, who I think we met in the second book, and then this hacker dude named Gideon. I think it's enemies to lovers. We're going to find out, the big finale, what's going to go on in this space world. I think we're going to see our characters from the past few books, Lilac and Tarver, my faves, and Lynn and Jubilee. So I'm excited to see them all again and see where the finale goes. I'm excited to read about their love story. Hopefully I do love it. I'm hoping I love it more than the second book, but we'll see. I'm going to be listening to this when I'm doing homework, because I do have to get to some stuff this week. So I'm going to pick this one up. So very excited to read this one. That's the gist of my TBR for this week. We'll see if I get to anything else, and if I do, then I'll let you know. There are some things that I do really want to read, and there's a lot of things I want to pick up. I will update you guys sometime later on today. So it's still Monday. It's kind of late at night. It's about 10:19 p.m. and I've been reading Maybe Someday. I have so many words and thoughts and feelings. I've never been more confused in my life about, ratings. This is probably the biggest guilty pleasure book I've ever read in my life. I realized this book has so many problems. There's like a long list of problems that people have probably already made when reading this book. Yet I freaking love this book, and it's so conflicting. So let's talk about the problems first, because I feel like we'll just end this on a happier note. Colleen Hoover does a great job at showing these characters are flawed because they mess up so freaking much. They make the dumbest decisions, and they do the stupidest things, and they're like absolutely ridiculous, and they say the wrong things all the time, but I think that just proves that these characters are very fundamentally flawed. As I mentioned, I think before, and most people I think know, this book has cheating in it. I was aware of that going into it, and still, I don't know, like, you want the characters to be together, but, like, then, like, they all, like, Bridge, the love interest character, has a girlfriend, and you're like, can't do that, buddy. And I think, like, I've read books with cheating before. Like, two of my favorite books of all time, Since You've Been Gone and Anne and the French Kiss, both have cheating in it. So it's not, like, something that I've, like, been, like, I would rate the book badly because of that. Like, even, like, though I'm strongly, like, obviously against cheating, I guess in the books it just didn't bother me. And, like, in this sense, like, it doesn't necessarily, like, bother me, per se. But, like, I can realize and acknowledge this is a problem and this is problematic and it wasn't necessary. It just gives you all the freaking angst, and I'm living for that. I love angst so much. I think that's the positive of what this does, because it really, like, the fact, like, that these characters, like, they know they can't be together logistically at this point in time, and Bridge does decently care about his girlfriend, and logistically, I don't think they would realistically cheat on each other, so I guess I have problems with that, but it does add angst. But I also think you can do that without having them cheat on their significant other. That's a thing. I think mostly I've got it covered is that, yeah, there's a lot of issues with this book, but for some reason, like, it's a book that makes me, like, so smiley. Like, it's a book that I feel like I haven't read, like, or, like, felt, I don't know, on this somewhat, like, to some extent, high of happiness since I read Anne and the French Kiss so many years ago. I'm about, like, 44% into it, logistically now, at this point. So, yeah, I have no idea what I'm gonna rate this, because I've realized there is problems with it. It's nowhere near perfect, but I feel like, in a sense, it's perfect for me, if that makes any sense at all. Earlier today, I did pick up Their Fractured Light by Amy Kaufman and Megan Spooner. I'm about 50 pages into it so far, so I'm not, like, a whole chunk of the way through it, but I have started it, and I'm enjoying it so far. I think it's good. They mentioned, like, Lilac and Tarver and Flynn and Jubilee already, and we're thriving. I'm very excited to see that. Overall, so far, enjoying it. I think I'm gonna enjoy the ship more in this book than I did in this Shattered World, which kind of is saying something. Also, I'm sorry if there is noise in the background. My fan's going on because I'm hot and I had to take a bit of a break while my camera was uploading. I have a feeling I'm just gonna enjoy this more. I don't know. I kind of like their meet cute thing. It was a fun time. I'm excited to see where the relationship progresses. I'm excited to see more of what happens with it, but this book just didn't really hold my attention today just because I've been reading Maybe Someday, which is fantastic, and this is also going to be great too. I also don't know if it's going to hold up to the same level. While I was uploading all my video footage to my computer, I ended up catching up on the Kiss Him Not Me anime, because I'm reading the mangas and then, like, watching the anime as I go along. So I had read the second volume a few weeks ago, but I never watched the anime episodes for it, so I just finished the anime episodes for it. So now we're going to pick up volume 3, because I'm kind of in the mood to read this and see what happens next, and then catch up with the anime again. I'm excited to see where this is going to go. I feel like there's some stuff about her body image in this one. I could be wrong, but I think we're going to talk more about her body image in this one, so hopefully that whole problematic thing that I've had issues with the whole time improves, and, like, we address that, and that they love her no matter what, because obviously then we've got to get rid of these guys. And we also have a new character. We have this girl, so I'm excited to see where things are going to go with that. I have a favorite of the guys. This dude right here, isn't he wonderful? He's, like, in the last one, they kind of talked about, he was, like, with the this, like, manga anime convention thing, and he was getting, like, some mangas for our main character, and, like, he's talking through, he's like, oh, you made all this art, like, it's so beautiful, like, you guys are so talented, and he's complimenting them, like, and they're like, he's an angel, and I'm like, I know, right, like, why can't he exist in my life, like, he's so precious, and such an angel, and I love him so much. He's my favorite character, like, hands down, my favorite character in the series, and the main reason I'm still reading this. There's another guilty pleasure. I feel like this is the vlog of guilty pleasures, and that's what I'm acting on. Like, I get that this series is very problematic, and I've addressed that. I acknowledge that it's there, it's problematic, but I still want to read more, okay? I'm, like, intrigued, I'm into the storyline, I'm excited to see where things are gonna go. I think that's what I'll do tonight. I don't know how far I'll get, if I'll finish this or not, but I'm excited to pick this up. So that's what I'm gonna do tonight. I don't know if I'll update you guys again tonight on my progress in this, but I'm excited to start on it. It's Emily, so it's Wednesday. I didn't update you guys yesterday at all, because I didn't really read anything yesterday, so that was the main reason. I haven't picked up maybe someday since I think I last spoke to you. The good news is, though, it was due in like 2 days or so, and it was like you could try renewing it, or placing another hold on it, which I didn't think this would work, because usually when there's someone else that was waiting for it, and usually when that happens, I have to just hand it over, and it goes away, and I'm like, I'm not sure if I'm gonna finish this in 2 days, but luckily, I was able to renew it, so I'm excited about that. So now I have it for another 21 days, so now I don't feel like I have to rush through it. I'm going to continue that at some point today. I also finished Kiss Him Not Me, Volume 3. I gave it 3 stars, as I usually give every single volume in this series. This one talked more about the body image and seeing how shallow the boys actually were. We had my favorite, who literally did not care, and was barely shown in this. And then we had this other guy, who he's my second favorite, so I decently do like him, though I strongly like her with Metasumi. That's his name. Like, as unrealistic as it was just for her to lose all the weight when she cried for a week. She, like, had chocolate over a weekend and all of a sudden gained all of it back, which, again, is super unrealistic. It doesn't work that way, but that's the story. We kind of got to see, like, the boys' reactions. 2 of the boys seemed to just want her back to her skinny self. The other dude, he was like, well, you know, like, I did like her for her looks, but, like, I've genuinely gotten to know her now. And, like, it doesn't matter to me, like, what she looks like. It's, like, outward appearance is one thing, but, like, personality is another, and, like, he's generally, like, fallen in love, I guess, with her. And I appreciate that, like, maybe, like, that's not how he viewed it at first, but now he's realized, like, looks aren't everything, and I think that he's changed his perspective. I think that's good. And then we had Matsumi, my fave. He didn't care. Like, I mean, like, he was friends with her and cared about her before this whole thing started. He's just a sweetie pie, and I love him so much. And in this situation, like, our female character, this new female character who got introduced in this one, she had a certain view on this. She's like, I guess 2 of the boys that really didn't like her appearance, I guess, they were, like, trying to get her to work out and stuff like that, and she's like, you can just stop pushing her, you're pushing her too much, or whatever, and, which I did agree with, to some extent. But then I liked what Metasumi had to say. He was like, it should be her choice. This is her body. It's her life. It should be her choice, what she wants to do. I appreciate him standing up for her, and he would always constantly check in. Like, this is, like, what you want to do, right? Like, don't want them to push you, like, either way. Like, this is what you want to do, which I really appreciate. He lets her make up her own mind, which the other characters aren't exactly doing. They all have specific opinions on what she should be doing. I appreciated that quite a bit. Also, this girl, she was okay. I mean, compared to the other 2 losers, she's, like, 3rd, I guess, on my favorites of the characters. But she's kind of a bit controlling. I don't know if I like that. I don't know, I feel like she's somewhat playing with our main character's feelings and stuff, and made her feel weird. That's that. So, that was Kiss Him Not Me Volume 3. It was my least favorite volume in the series, probably because there was no, like, little to no Metasumi. I think we got most of Metasumi's stuff in the first one, and we haven't really seen a lot of him since. But I think in the upcoming volumes we're going to see him more. I don't think we are in the next one, but I think sometime soon we're going to see a lot more of him. I'm in that weird phase where I'm, like, hot and cold at the same time. Like, I kind of feel, like, cold in my legs that I want a blanket, but then, like, I'll put the blanket on and, like, this is too hot for me. I don't know what my body wants right now. Hello! It's Thursday. I don't think I updated you guys since Wednesday morning. I was pretty wiped out on Wednesday. and then I didn't really want to update you until I finished Maybe Someday. So with that, I finished Maybe Someday. I gave it 5 stars. I feel like this book, and essentially, like, I don't know, doesn't deserve this rating, but I'm giving it this rating. Does that make sense? Coming from a picky rater, such as me, I'm very picky when it comes to my 5-star books. My overall enjoyment, and this being like one of my new favorite books, I think is what made it a 5-star. I very much enjoyed this book. I loved the love story so much, even if it had so many issues. While I do have like some 4.5s that like are considered some of my favorite books, or books that I quite look up to, I was kind of like, screw it, I'm giving this 5 stars. This book put me through so many emotions. It's hard to describe, and I'm kind of surprised I'm coming to you saying I give this book 5 stars, because I think Emily, like a year ago, read a Colleen Hoover and hated it, and now Emily now has read another Colleen Hoover and loved it. While those books were very different from each other, for example, one was a novella, and this is a full-fledged novel. One relationship is strongly, like, it's in general, like, I know those relationships aren't for me, and this one very much was. This one just did it for me and, like, was perfect. Some parts were, like, you know, could be cringy, though I just found, like, everything just cute and adorable. This book essentially had a lot of problems going with it, based on the fact that the characters kind of had to start their relationship. I mean, like, they tried not to, but, like, still, the relationship did somewhat come out of cheating. There was a lot of, we can't be together, which I just love in a book. That sounds really wrong. I love when, like, the characters can't be together, or then, like, they end up together in the end. Like, it's just so perfect. Like, getting me to root for the characters to be together, like, that's what, like, a romance novel essentially needs. Like, I need the pining, I love that they can't be together thing, like, drives me nuts. Like, I don't know, I love that trope, we can't be together. Put me in my feels in so many ways. I loved the songwriting. This book has a soundtrack, which I think is the coolest thing. So there's links throughout the book if you get the ebook, but, like, it will tell you, like, what the song title is and, like, when it, like, lists all the lyrics. But then you can go listen to it on Spotify. Griffin Peterson, that's his name. So there's 8 different songs. They're all wonderful. And I think it just really brings the book to life, because I feel like there's a lot of, like, there's definitely, like, songwriting and stuff in books. Like, I've seen that before, but not to, like, this extent where, like, you can literally listen to the songs. I think that's so cool. I would love to see if more, like, books could, like, if they, like, they have the capacity to be able to do that, or, like, can connect with a songwriter or something like that, and be able to do that. Like, I just think that'd be so cool. I have to say my favorite song from the book, the album, the soundtrack, my favorite song was Maybe Someday, which was the, I guess, like, the title of the book song. I feel like that one was just the best. Lots of feelings with that song, and, like, it was great, and it's just honestly, like, I feel like the song, like, the songwriting, like, the lyrics are the best, like, the melody's the best, like, that one's just the best song in my opinion. But they're all really great, but that one's the one I definitely have on repeat, and, like, I could probably sing it to you. If I could be yours now, da 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 da, maybe someday. It's such a bop. It's so good. I loved that we got, like, a development of their friendship first, and, like, seeing them song around as friends and stuff like that, and then, like, realizing their souls are intertwined and it's something more, and it's just so good. These two are so cute. They're so cute, and I'm so glad I finally picked this up. I've been wanting to read this book for so many years. I think now was a good time to do so. I think, if I had read it when I was younger, I think I probably would have given it 5 stars. I loved it. Probably gonna be one of my favorites of the year. Okay, I'm done talking about this book. I need to shut up, because editing Emily is frustrated that I keep rambling about this book, but I loved it so much. So then I also picked up Their Fractured Light. I haven't really read, like, a whole ton of this to give you, like, much of an update, but I'm on page 71 currently. So again, I really haven't read a lot of this. I haven't really been in the mood for space, but I really want to finish this series, but that might take a toll on my enjoyment of the series. So far, I'm enjoying it decently. Not really much to tell you. I don't have, like, any new opinions and stuff like that. I'm excited to see what's gonna happen to Lala Kataru, though. Like, they're not the point of views I'm reading from. But they're by far and will remain my favorite characters in the series. I like Gideon. He's great. Sophia, I haven't quite enjoyed as much so far. She's okay. I don't know what's her deal. I kind of want to read some fluffy contemporaries, especially after I Love Maybe Someday. My camera battery cut out, so I'm just going to quickly finish this update part here, because it's probably already really long. I'm going to pick up Lucky Caller by Emma Mills. I've heard a lot of good things about Emma Mills. It's her newest release. So, she's been compared, I think, to Casey West. So that was the main reason I wanted to pick her up. She writes light, fluffy contemporary books, which is my favorite genre, as you all know. So this one is about, I think, a radio show, and that's about all I know about it, but I think that sounds cool enough and has already sold me on it, so I'm excited to read this book, and hopefully I like it. Hey guys, it's Emily. So it's Friday, and I've done some reading. First of all, let's talk about what I mainly have made progress on, and that's Their Fractured Light by Amy Kaufman and Megan Spooner. So I'm about 50% into it at this point, as you can see. And so far, I can say I don't think I like it to the extent of either these Broken Stars or Their Shattered Light. I think I originally told you that I think I was going to like the ship in this more than Jubilee and Flynn from the second book. What I guess I can tell you as an update for that, I think that prediction was wrong. I actually think it's my least favorite ship in the series, and I don't really like it that much. I do like Gideon, so I think that's the only part that's really selling me on the ship and the relationship and such. Other than that, I don't care about Sophia. She's a con woman, which is kind of making her come off really fake. And, like, I've read, like, con man, con woman stuff. Like, I mean, well, the only really one I can really think of that was done and written so well was Remy's Route on Lovestruck, because he's a con man. That was interesting, but, like, I felt like with him, it just didn't feel fake. And with Sophia, she just feels so fake. She's kind of bugs me, and I don't really like her. It's kind of taking a toll on it, because I feel like you can have a great book with an unlikable main character. The Selection does that well. So I do like America. But I feel like in this story, it just didn't work for me. The relationship was pretty insta-lovey, which I wasn't a fan of, and I was kind of disappointed by. I was hoping for it to be more slow burn. It was weird, because, like, they had an argument about something, and then it seemed like they forgave each other, like, right away. That didn't make sense to me. I'm like, I thought you all just, like, fought about something, like, really deep and personal, and all of a sudden you're running into each other's arms, and the relationship's so complicated, it's all built up on lies, and I'm just not a fan of it. And while you can have complicated relationships, such as maybe someday, this is not doing it for me. So the first half of the book has been a struggle. It's mainly been about Gideon and Sophia, and I just don't really care about Sophia that much, though I do like Gideon. It is, however, starting to pick up since we've hit the halfway point. There was kind of a bit of a plot twist that I didn't see coming. Was shook for a moment, and then they explained things, and I was kind of disappointed, but, like, whatever, it's fine. We've been able to see the characters from the first two books a lot more, and they're taking a more prominent role in the story now, which I'm very much enjoying. So that's great and all, but now it's more coming across like the story's more about Lilac and Tarver. I don't know why we're not seeing from their perspective. I kind of wish this series, though I did originally enjoy the companion part of it, and I do enjoy companion series, this isn't saying I don't. Like, there's a lot of companion series out there that I think do stuff like this well. I just kind of wish this was done in more like a Lunar Chronicles-like way, where, like, in the first book, like, we're introduced to Cinder and Kai, and in the second book, we're introduced to Scarlet and Wolf, but, like, we're still following Cinder and Kai from the first book, and I really like the way the Lunar Chronicles did that, because, like, I felt like it was just, like, you weren't saying goodbye to these characters, it was more like, you're still seeing from their perspective, you're still seeing their story, and, like, there's still more story to tell. And while I did originally feel like in these Broken Stars, Lilac and Tarver's story had been told, I feel like now, coming back to this one, it hasn't been. Like, while in, like, the Shattered World, I don't think there was much of their story happening overall, but this one, it seems that their story is, like, taking a more prominent role over our main characters in this book. Then leads me to the point of why isn't this book from Lilac and Tarver's point of view and Flynn and Jubilee's point of view? I think we can just, like, erase Gideon and Sophia. Maybe we could have had this book, or, like, and maybe, like, fleshed out Gideon's and Sophia's characters a lot more, and not made the relationship insta-lovey, and then added a fourth book where you saw from all of their perspectives. Either that, or, like, just completely got rid of Gideon and Sophia entirely. I don't really see the point of their plotline. They're not really adding anything to the storyline that we've built up so far. They're not bringing anything new to the table besides the fact they're connected to characters from the previous two books. I just don't see the point exactly. I think this book just would have been so much better if we actually like got to see from Tarver and Lilac's point of view. And though I do know there is one chapter in here from Lilac's point of view, I just think, I don't know, seeing from Tarver and Lilac's point of view, and let's just say maybe even Jubilee and Flint's point of view, I just think the story would have been better because it does seem like the story is taking a turn to be more about them rather than it is about our main characters that we're following in this book. I also just have more attachment to Tarver and Lilac than I do Gideon and Sophia. That's kind of been weighing heavy on this book. I just wanted more from this, and sadly I'm disappointed because obviously you guys have seen how much I gush about These Broken Stars, as it's one of my favorite books of all time. And the sequel is pretty good. I quite enjoyed it, but this one's just kind of been pretty meh to me. I don't know if it's because I'm not quite in the mood for a sci-fi book, but at the same time, I just kind of want to finish this series, in a sense, be done with it, so I can, like, finish a series, because I suck at finishing series so badly. And I've really been in the mood for, like, fluffy contemporaries. So I'm making my way through this. I think the story is progressing, and I think the second half is definitely going to be better than the first half as we're leading up to our big finale. I'm excited to see where that's going to go. I just wish we could stop seeing from Sophia and Gideon's perspective, because I no longer give a crap. Like, I just don't care about them anymore. That's my thoughts. Then I kind of took a break from that because it was taking too much an emotional toll on me. So I switched books, audiobooks, as I was kind of like doing stuff, so I don't have an audiobook to listen to. So I picked up Better Than Perfect. I don't know who this is by. It's by Simone L. Callies. I think it's also been called Wildcard. Getting some like Guild Hollow vibes, slightly. But so far it's good. I'm enjoying it so far. I haven't really read a lot of this so far, so I will give you more of my thoughts when I hopefully get more into it. I think I'm going to continue on with this. My next physical read, I finally picked up another book. Lucky Caller by Emma Mills. This book, I can give you more of a synopsis now. It's about a girl, I believe her name is Nina. She just found out that her mom is marrying her boyfriend, or like they got engaged, and so there's kind of change arising in that. She just doesn't really want things to change. She wants things to stay exactly the same. So she's entering her last semester of high school, and she ends up being a part of this radio broadcasting class. She's in like this group, and they create a radio show together, and one of the members of that group is this boy named Jamie, and he's like, I guess they were childhood friends, but things are awkward between them. He's like the boy next door. I believe there's gonna be a romance between them. At least that's what it's been hinting at. I'm excited to read more of this book. So far, I'm enjoying it. I'm not really that far into it. I'm like on page 36. I'm enjoying it so far. I think it's cute. I'm excited to see where the romance is going to go because I just feel like reading a light, fluffy, happy contemporary book. It's Saturday today. Before I get into my reading update, I went to the library today. Very exciting. I got some books I'm so excited to read. Usually, I feel like I don't do book hauls on my channel just because I don't really, well, not often compared to like other booktubers, just because I don't usually, like, I don't know, I don't buy books as avidly as other booktubers do just because I don't really have the means to do so exactly. Though I do have a lot of books. Since the library has reopened up, I've kind of gone on like a library binge and be like, these are the books I've been thinking about for like months on end and all the books I've been wanting to read lately, so I picked them up. So let's show you them. Here's the book I'm probably like most excited about. Which is Alex Approximately by Jen Bennett. This book is about this girl, and she has this online best friend. They're like movie buffs, I think, and then I think she moves on either to the same town as him or something like that, and she ends up working at a movie theater, and there is this guy at the movie theater that also works there, and they kind of like don't like each other. So I've been wanting to pick up Jen Bennett for a while now, and this book just sounds so wonderful to me, so I'm very excited to read it. Then we have Kiss Him Not Me Volume 6. So I think I've logistically talked about the series enough already that you know what this is about, but this is the 6th volume, so I'm trying to like, you know, continue reading it. We got Mesumi on the back. Look at this cutie. I've been getting through these pretty quickly, and I just like having them on hand so that I can read them when I feel like it, and usually like I go through really quickly like in like an hour or so. I'm excited to see where the story's gonna go. There's another volume in here, I think volume 7 as well, but I'll get to that when I get to that. Then we have Tether, which I put on hold back when I was still reading it. Tandem. Put this one back on hold back when I was still reading it this past week. So now I just kind of have it for my wrap up. Overall, this book was decent. I gave it 3 stars. And then I also got the sequel, Tether, That's why I keep getting them mixed up. Tether's the sequel. And there's a third book, but that hasn't come out because they decided not to publish it, and I guess it's gonna be on Wattpad eventually. She said she hasn't forgotten about it. She's gonna write it. We'll see where this goes. I did put the second book on hold just because I guess it's easy to listen to. I thought the first one was okay, but we'll see where the sequel goes. I just like the covers too. They're really pretty. And then we have Summer Days and Summer Nights. I've been wanting to read this anthology for so many years now, and I picked it up a couple of times, and it's summertime, so I just think now is the perfect time to get to it. So it's just a bunch of short stories. It has one of my favorite short stories of all time in here. I feel like, well, actually both, like the Summer Days one and the 12 Days of Christmas one or whatever my true love gave to me, that one. They have like two of my favorite short stories ever. This, like, Lee Bardugo's I read, and I absolutely adored it, so maybe I'll reread it because I just thought it was so cute. Like, I just loved it. It, like, made me cry, which I don't think a short story has, like, evoked that much emotion out of me before. The one and the other one, I talked about it when I read Almost Midnight, which includes Midnights, which was a story that was in the My True Love Gave to Me, and that one's like a best friend relationship thing, and they got together, and it was so cute. But I wanted to read the rest of the short stories in here, and now, like, it's summertime. I love, like, summer stuff, and, like, I really do enjoy anthologies, and I just think that this is fun. So I'm excited to pick this up finally. Then we have The Infinite Noise by Lauren Shipton, and I think this showed up on my Goodreads when it was came up recommending me books based on the books I'd read this year, and I remember it sounded interesting, so I put it on hold right away. I think it's a new release too, if I'm correct, but it could be wrong. I believe this came out this year. 2019, never mind, it came out last year, but close enough. Caleb Michaels is your average 16-year-old. He goes to school, plays football, teases his little sister, but when Caleb starts experiencing mood swings that are out of the ordinary for even a teenager, his life moves beyond typical. Caleb is an atypical and individual with enhanced abilities, which sounds pretty cool, except Caleb's ability is an extreme empathy. He feels the emotions of everyone around him. Being an empath in high school would be hard enough, but Caleb's life becomes even more complicated when he gets pulled into the emotional orbit of one of his classmates, Adam. Adam's feelings are big and all-consuming, but they fit together with Caleb's feelings in a way that he's never experienced before, in a way that feels right. Caleb's therapist, Dr. Bright, encourages Caleb to explore this connection, and by befriending Adam as he and Adam grow closer, Caleb learns more about his ability himself. His therapist, who seems to know a lot more than she lets on, and just how dangerous being atypical can be. This sounds really fun and interesting, and I'm hoping I like this. I don't know if this is like a first book in the series. I think it's a standalone if I'm correct, but it sounded interesting, so I was like, I'm gonna pick this up. So let's read it. Then we have Defy the Stars by Claudia Gray, and this is a space book. I've read Claudia Gray before, and I decently enjoyed her books. I think I had too many opinions. I enjoyed the first book in the 8,000 Pieces of You trilogy, and then the second book, I just really disliked the main character and who she was with, and I want to finish that series. But this is a space book. That's all I know about it, is that it's space, and it's by Claudia Gray, and I definitely want to pick up more of Claudia Gray, so I have the audiobook of this currently, so it would be nice to have a physical copy to go along with it. This book is the one I already told you about, which is Kiss Him Not Me, Volume 7. Look at Medasumi. He's holding a pink flower. Well, they're all holding pink flowers, but, like, he just looks freaking adorable. Yeah, so that's all the books that I got today. As for a reading update, I have picked up Better Than Perfect by Simone Elkeels. I don't know how the frick to pronounce her last name, honestly, but I picked this up. This book, have I given you guys the synopsis? I think I gave you a brief synopsis when I, like, barely just started it, but I've gotten, like, more into it now. I'm, like, 37% into it, I think. But this one is about this girl named Ashton and this boy named Derek, and Derek gets kicked out of his boarding school when he pulled a prank, and so he has to go live with his stepmom and his stepmom's and his, I think, stepbrother too. They're moving back in with her dad, so he has to kind of move with them, and in that house there's this girl named Ashton who's his stepmom's sister, so I guess in a weird capacity the girl character is the boy's aunt, which is kind of weird, or step aunt. It's weird, but they're the same age. She has a boyfriend who's on the football team, and she is also on the football team, and she's a tomboy. She's not like other girls. She becomes the team captain, which kind of starts drama, essentially, like, other schools don't like that she's the team captain of this football team, getting like, I don't know, pranked on and stuff, and then there's complications between her and her boyfriend, and then this other guy, Derek, comes in. So that's the gist of what this is about. Overall, it's decently okay to me. I've had, like, I guess some enjoyment levels of this, but at the same time, it also kind of feels weird, and I don't, like, the characters are kind of just strongly okay for me. They do have characteristics and stuff like that, like, it's not like Tandem where, like, they didn't have characteristics, which I appreciate, but I just think this is just an okay contemporary. I love sports romances. That's something I've learned to love. I quite enjoy that. I think that's cool, and whenever there is a sports romance, I do enjoy those. I like romances that kind of somewhat involve a sport and stuff like that. There hasn't been anything that's made me, like, root for the characters super much to get together, besides the fact that I don't like Ashton's boyfriend. This is just kind of solidly okay so far. Lucky Caller I picked up last night. I've read a bit more of it today, but I've hit the 100-page mark. I'm on page 109 or so. This cover is beautiful. This book is just, again, I feel like it's, like, better than perfect. It's just decently okay. I'm not overwhelmingly loving it. I kind of want more development with the characters. We're getting, like, some slight development between the relationship that's happening, and things are starting to finally go down. It's, like, was a bit slow to begin with. Like, we have this radio show, I think I mentioned that. Seems like there's gonna be more developments with this radio show, which I'm excited to see, because obviously there wasn't, like, a lot happening with that. We're getting slight developments between the relationship between Jamie and our main character, Nina. Things have been, like, so awkward so far between them. I don't know if it's just because they faded apart, which is my assumption, is that they faded apart and things are awkward now. I want more from this. It's a childhood friends to lovers thing, so, you know, like, I'm trash for friends to lovers, and I do enjoy the childhood friend thing too, but I don't know, I'm not getting the vibe off of that. I think I love when they're, like, still friends. That's what I like more, and it just seems like things are awkward between them, and so because their things are so awkward, though I do like both the characters, I haven't really grown to ship them that much yet. Hopefully that develops and gets better. I think the radio show adds, like, such a fun element to the story. Like, I love books that have, like, contemporary books that have such, like, a fun element to them, whether it's, like, a radio show, or skating, like, Every Reason We Shouldn't, or just something like that, just, like, this fun extra element, like, oh, or there's a podcast, or, like, oh, there's, like, a bakery, or something. Like, I don't know, I just like the cool books with, like, fun, like, little elements, fun things. Overall, this book's so okay. I definitely want to pick up more MMLs. I think there's probably more out there that I might like more than this, but this one, it's entertaining. I'm enjoying it so far. I'm gonna continue on with this. Alrighty, so I have now finished Better Than Perfect by Simone L. I cannot know how to pronounce this girl's name. And I gave it 3 stars, which I think is kind of generous. I can't really stop laughing when I think about this book. This book is one of a kind. I don't think I've read anything like it. I don't think I'll read anything like it again. I'm tempted to pick up more from this author. What has this vlog been? Like, the books I've read have either been guilty pleasures or just, like, so bad it's funny. I think, like, the only 2 books that exclude that would be their Fractured Light and Lucky Caller. I had obviously high expectations going into this, obviously because this book is called Better Than Perfect, so I'm expecting it to be, like, a 6-star book, not, like higher than a 5-star. Like, it's gotta, like, exceed my expectations, obviously. No, I'm just kidding. I had no expectations going into this. Like, I've never picked up a book by this author before. I just kind of picked it up on a whim and decided to read it. For some reason, I had Guild Hollow vibes. I don't know why I had Guild Hollow vibes going into this book. I will say, this definitely does lead more towards the new adult side of things, other than the young adult side of things. This was interesting. Not, like, coming out to you telling you I'm disappointed. Like, this is a 3-star and that's fine with me. If you're looking for a cringy book to make you laugh, I would recommend this book. It brought a smile to my face, which I did not expect. I was laughing at the first scene too. I thought that, like, the way this book started was really funny, because we're hearing about, like, our cowboy dude, Derek, he getting busted for this prank, and it's just really funny. That scene made me laugh when I first picked this book up. This book was an experience. We have our main character, Not Like Other Girls, and we had our cowboy. We had some nicknames going on. He called her Sugar Pie. Like, he has that twangy accent, so he's like, Sugar Pie, something like that. I'm not doing a good job of it to really give you the full effect. I find pet names in books can be really cheesy. Sometimes pet names can be really cute. Like, for example, Maxwell in The Royal Romance calls the main character Little Blossom, and that's, like, adorable. But, like, Sugar Pie is just or when, like I hate when, I don't know, the baby girl I hate that name so much. Like, that's just an annoying pet name and irks me so much. And then we got, our main character called him Cowboy, which I think suits him quite well. It was hate to love. It was one of those stories that, like, they're like, I hate you, and they're, like, making out, because they're, like, screaming, I hate you. And while I was mad about that in the moment, like, that's, like, the least of my problems at this point. These characters were constantly arguing. The relationship, obviously, there was, like, so many flaws with it. My favorite scene from this book has to be this moment. Our main girl, not like other girls, is allergic to purple food dye. There was, like, I don't know, this cake, or was it a cookie? I wasn't paying enough attention to the scene at first until I realized what was happening. But she eats it. It originally had, I guess, purple food dye or frosting on it, but they covered it with yellow frosting, which seems really dumb, and I think it was just to add conflict, because this story over-dramatized literally everything. She has an allergic reaction, and the author decides to romanticize this moment for, like, having an allergic reaction. Try to make it, like, I don't know, sexual to some extent, and it was really funny. It's, like, itching everywhere, and he gave her some Benadryl, the love interest dude. So she's, like, itching everywhere, and he's like, oh, you gotta stop itching. And she's like, I can't. And he's like, I'll help you. And then, like, he starts touching her and stuff like that, and it goes mildly sexual, and I just... she's having an allergic reaction. I just thought this was the funniest thing, and, like, one of my new favorite scenes that I've ever read in a book, just because it was so funny. Because I think it was, the point of this was supposed to come off, like, sexy and entertaining and romantic, but it just made me laugh so much in, like, the best possible way. That was just a moment. I don't think I've ever read a scene quite like that one, where they romanticized an allergic reaction. It was a fun time, and I feel like I'm smiling about it like I would smile about a 5-star. It's not that, it's a 3-star. Obviously, this book is one of a kind, it's unique, but, like, it's not great, it's real cringy for the most part, but it made me laugh, it was entertaining, the characters were entertaining, one of a kind. Those stereotypical romance books that, like, they either portray in TV shows, or, like, when people think of, like, a romance book, I feel like they think of this. That is what you are looking for. You might love this. So, it's now Monday. I did mean to update you guys yesterday. I had full intentions of doing so, but there was some stuff that came up, so I just didn't really have the opportunity to film an update. I'm just gonna discuss with you now. I don't think I've made any progress on Lucky Caller since I last updated you. I haven't really read that much, but I am on page 142, so if that means anything. I feel like I was there before, but I could be wrong. I'm not 100% sure. I would like to hopefully finish this today. I was planning on finishing it last night, but then, like I said, stuff came up, so didn't get the opportunity to. The other two books I wanted to briefly talk about first is Top Secret, I think by Elle Kennedy and Bina Bowen. It's on the screen here. I DNF'd this. I started reading it because I was watching Gabby. She was, like, reading her favorite books. I've been getting into her YouTube channel. And so the plot sounded interesting to me. It's basically about these two frat guys, and they are trying to become essentially, like, the president of the frat house or whatever. So they kind of have, like, a rivalry and enemies thing going on, communicating to each other, but they don't know, like, they're talking to each other through, like, online and stuff like that, and that sounded really interesting to me. I was like, that's intriguing, I'm interested, but I don't know how far I got through it, I think at least, like, halfway, and then decided to DNF it, because it's, in general, I think just not for me. I liked the premise, but, like, the overall execution of it became super sexual, which is just something I don't like in my romance novels. I like reading books that, like, are cute, fluffy, sweet, happy, fluffy times, rather than steamy, and this just became super steamy. It was sexual all the time. Like, 9 times out of 10, the scene was sexual. While there was, like, some cute little moments between that, I wasn't a fan of this. This just was too steamy for my liking, so DNF'd it. The other book I read, I read this entirely in a day, and it's Let's Talk About Love by Claire Kahn. I gave this a 4.5, I think, at this point. I'm going to give it a 4.5 after thinking about it. This book was absolutely wonderful. I listened to it all yesterday. This book, we are following our main character, Alice, who is asexual. Her girlfriend dumps her because of this. Basically, she meets this guy from her workplace, and she kind of starts growing to have feelings for them, so they develop, like, a friendship and then something more. But she also, like, wants him to understand this kind of stuff because her past relationships, like, they couldn't accept this kind of thing. And overall, I think this book was absolutely wonderful. I really enjoyed it. I loved the conversation in this book. It was just fantastic. The relationship was also, like, so cute. It was just, like, little fluffy things. So, like, if you love fluffy relationships like I do, I think you definitely, like, enjoy this. While also having, like, a good conversation at the same time. I really enjoyed, like, the conversation we had in this book, and I think if you haven't read this book, I highly recommend it. I think it's, like, it's one of those books I like. Like, it's not hard-hitting, but, like, it brings out an important message, and I think good discussions and stuff like that. Also having, like, a lighter tone to it. Like, it's not dark or anything like that. Like, it's pretty lighthearted for the most part. It's just fluffy and cute and adorable and wonderful. I just really enjoyed this book so much. Overall, I gave it a 4.5. So overall, this week I read a total, I think, of, including, I think, 4 books, and then one I didn't finish. Almost 5 books. But the first book I think I finished was Kiss Him Not Me, Volume 3, which I gave a total of, I gave 3 stars, so my least favorite volume in the series so far. Then I finished Maybe Someday, which I gave 5 stars. Absolutely adored that book. Then I read Better Than Perfect by Simone L. Achilles. I can still not pronounce her name. I'm so sorry. This book I gave 3 stars. Then I DNF Top Secret by Elle Kennedy and Sabrina Bowen. Sabrina? I don't remember what it was. It's something. But I DNF'd it. And then I read Let's Talk About Love by Claire Kahn, which I gave 4.5 stars. The other 2 books I started but didn't finish was Their Fractured Light by Amy Kaufman and Megan Spooner. I was at page 237 last time I spoke to you. I'm going to try to get back into this, but it's just like, I want something lighthearted, so I keep picking up contemporaries. And the other book that I did not finish this week, but I did start, was Lucky Color by Emma Mills, which I plan on trying to finish, hopefully today or sometime soon here. Well, I think I had a pretty good reading week. I generally enjoyed what I read. I had a 5-star and a 4.5, which is pretty good for me. Let me know what you guys have been reading lately, and I will talk to y'all soon in a new video. Bye!